Yay!
And we're going to go a little late
So
today.
hungry.
We're going to go late. Just a little bit. 2-5. I got plenty of time then. Applications of sets. So to hurry the life up of this one, you see the word and, you replace it with intersection. Any place in this section that you see the word and, basketball and baseball, you replace it with basketball intersects baseball. If you see the word or, this is going to be a union. So these keywords, just change them into their proper symbolism. Okay. So, how does an application work? Well, it starts off pretty simple. You do a survey. You talk to a couple people. And you ask them a question. You know those people in the malls that you run away from? So I should do a survey? No. But they'll just ask a question like, what kind of condiments do you put on your hot dogs? Ketchup,
Chili,
mustard, chili,
cheese,
onion, sauerkraut. That's not the worst one I've heard.
baked beans,
No, I've heard worse.
and coleslaw.
Coleslaw.
Oh yeah, that's good. But you gotta have the baked beans too. You gotta have the
But-
baked beans and the coleslaw.
What the survey takers then do is they take all the information they give you, or you give them, and they break it apart into the pieces that they care about. They don't care about coleslaw. They care about ketchup and mustard. Mustard. And then you can find out how many use both. So if you ask, well, what do you put on your hot dog? You can tell them anything, but they're really only interested in ketchup and mustard because they're Heinz company. And they don't care about coleslaw because Heinz doesn't make coleslaw. All right. So what they found was, out of the 100 people, 59 of them use ketchup, 39 of them use mustard, and 18 of them use both. I'm a phonics speller, so I have to say it the way I want to spell it. Mustard. You're lucky I spelled ketchup right. I spell checked that one. All right. The problem is, if I ask how many people just use ketchup, they didn't mix the ketchup and the mustard on their hot dog. You can't tell just by looking at 59 because 59 is, they put ketchup on their hot dog, but they could have put a ton of other stuff on there. So we're going to use a Venn diagram to break it up. There's only two things going on here. We have ketchup and mustard. And how do you start a Venn diagram?
From the middle.
You get 18 here. What's left for just ketchup?
59.
Well, it's 59 minus
Minus
18. So 59 minus 18, better known as 41. So 41 people just put ketchup on their hot dogs. Just. All right, then the same thing for mustard. 39 of them use mustard.
Minus
We
18.
got to lose the 18 that we already have accounted for the mustard. What are we left with? 21. Now, I surveyed 100 people. Did 100 people, all of them use ketchup and mustard? No. So how do I find out? I got to take these three and add them together. And I have to subtract that answer from 100. So let's see, this is...
20.
I'm lost now. Hold on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 80. So there's 80 here, so that
You know
leaves...
you can't
So
go
why you
back.
got a subtraction sign?
Because he wanted to see how many people altogether did the survey.
I'm sorry, I meant...
100 people did the survey, but,
Yeah, so 100 people did the survey.
alright,
Only 80 of them put one of those on there. So that leaves me with...
20.
These people put coleslaw, sauerkraut, beans, chili, but did not put ketchup and did not put mustard. Or they ate it plain. That's my daughter, plain. Okay, so then you can have a few questions like, how many used just one of these? And just for test purposes, so you can get partial credit, if you just write the answer as 62, and I have no clue where that came from, and maybe you added in another number that wasn't supposed to be, or you picked the wrong number from the wrong location, I highly suggest you write 41 plus 21 to come up with your 62. Write it down. It's not that long. More common than not, people put numbers in there that they shouldn't, or they put don't put numbers if they really should. All right, how about this one? How many used mustard and ketchup? Now, the key word here is and. That means intersection. So where should I look at my picture? In the middle, which is 18. And then a sillier question. How many used mustard or ketchup? Keyword there is or. Now, or is union. How many used mustard or ketchup?
80.
Where'd you get the 80?
41 plus 18 plus
41 plus 18 plus 21. Why? Well, because union means put them all together. All three numbers. So that's a simplistic one. Let's make it harder.
That's what's wrong with folks. Something ain't broken.
Oh, plenty of time. Plenty of time. We'll need a calculator for this one.
Well, I got it.
ESPN did a survey. Guess what ESPN cares about?
Sports.
They only care about sports. So they surveyed 500 people. No one bats an eye at that anymore. You see PPL and your brain goes, people, abbreviations, gotta love them. Took me forever to figure out LOL. So they asked 500 people, what do you watch? When you go home from work, what do you watch on TV? Now, what could the answers be? Soap operas? Sports? News? Cartoons? Reality TV, yeah, real. So, but ESPN only cares about
Is that you?
God?
Soccer?
That's you, ain't it? Are you really? It ain't me.
No, I'm not gonna hunt it. Football. Basketball. Basketball. Traitor. Baseball.
How many did you use? Just one of these. How many did you use?
Basketball and baseball. Oy. Basketball and football. And baseball and football. Hold on. All three. Now, hold on. When I was over here with ketchup and mustard, I had ketchup, I had mustard, and I had to have all the possible subsets. So what are all the possible subsets? Well, football, basketball, and baseball are my elements. Then I could have basketball and baseball. I could have basketball and football. I could have baseball and. That's all the combinations between all three of these sports. And then, of course, I watch all three. All right, so how many people watch football? 150 of them. How many people watch basketball? 100. How many people watch baseball? 75. Is this saying that the 150 people only watch football?
No.
No, they could have watched anything, including these other two sports. Then you get down to how many watch the bees? There was 30 of them. How many watched the baseball and the football? There were, I'm out of order, but that's okay. Well, hold on, 30. Baseball and football, there are 25 of them. Basketball and football, there were 40 of them. And then all three is 10. Here, I got my numbers here. I gotta be really careful with the numbers because if I get two of them out of order, the whole thing falls apart. All right, and then I can draw my picture. Here's the three circles.
Bless you.
Thank you. Label your circles. Here's football. Here's basketball. I gotta be careful. I can't just call it B. And here's baseball. Let's call this foot. Football. Which is different than football in Europe. What's football in Europe?
Soccer.
Soccer. It's soccer. Yeah. You didn't know that? Yeah, you go to Europe and you say, I'm going to watch a football game. You're watching soccer. All right, where do I start in this picture?
In the middle.
10 go here. This one you have to be very, very cautious with. I don't know what it is with people's brains. They get 2 sets and they understand that they have to subtract their way out. For some reason, I think it's fatigue. I don't know. By the time you get to this portion here, people forget to subtract, and I've seen people put 150 right here.
Oh, I showed her to do it.
Don't do that. You start in the middle and you work your way out. So 10 people here. Now these 10 people represent football people, they represent basketball people, and they represent baseball people. You have to take them away from all the rest of your numbers. All right, then go between football and basketball. Well, football and basketball is right here. How many are there? 40. 10 of them are already accounted for.
30.
That leaves me 30. So this I should add up to the 40. That I shape should add up to the 40. All right, then football and baseball. Where's football and baseball? Football and baseball, how many? 25 are all in there, but 10 of them are already accounted for. So that leaves me 15. These two should add up to 25. All right, basketball and baseball. That's this one. 30. But I already have 10. So this has to be
20.
20. That makes sense, right?
It does.
All right, now here's the hard part. Football. 150 people are watching football.
30, 40, 50, 60.
But I already have 55?
95.
Hold on, 30, 40, 55, right? I already have 55 taken care of. So what's that leave me? 95. These 4 numbers inside of football better add up to
150.
150. They can't add up to anything else. They have to add up to 150. When I get to basketball, there should be 100 people in that circle, but I already have 60. That leaves me 40. Then I have baseball. There should be 75 people in that circle, but I already have 30, 45 of them, right? So 45 minus 75 is? 30. Then the hard one. What about all those people that watch soap operas? I gotta go someplace in this picture. So you have to add up all of these numbers and subtract them from that 500 people. It turns out to be 260? 260. Well, 240 for the sum of the numbers. That leaves me 260 that watch soap operas, reality TV, all that other junk. Sports are the only important thing. No. Now, then I get to ask a bunch of questions, and now we can ask some silly questions. Number 1, how many watch just one of these sports? How many of these just watch one of these sports? Now, again, for the test, I highly suggest you write down the numbers that you added together or subtracted together or whatever you did to get to it. So what numbers were we talking about? 95, 40, and 30. Because those are the only numbers up there that did not share any other sport, basketball, football, or baseball. So this 95 is all by himself, the 40 is all by himself, and the 30 is all by himself. Okay. Up for a grand total of 165. Okay. How about 2? How many watched exactly 2 sports?
30, 15, and 20.
30. I'll go with 30 so far. 30, 15, and 20. Why would I add in 60? Oh, you mean add 70? I'm like, add 65. No. It adds up to 65. Okay. So these are the only ones that show up to be in 2 different sports, but definitely not all 3. So we can't include the 10 that's in the middle. We can only include the 15 because he's 2 sports. The 30 is 2 sports, and the 20 is also 2 sports. But the 10 is all 3, and I said exactly 2. Not more than 2, not less than 2, exactly 2. All right, so those are simplistic questions. How many didn't watch any? 260. That simple question. 3. How many watched baseball or basketball, but not football. 40, 20, and 30. Key word here is or. Or represents union. That means put them all together. So, baseball and basketball, if you look at the circles up here, you're talking about all of these numbers here. But then the second part says not football. It's like a complement. So you got to kick out everything out of football, and you're left with 40, 20, and 30. So 40, 20, and 30. For a grand total of 90. Yeah, when it says but not football, it's technically saying the complement. So you got to cover up the entire circle for football. But it still has to be inside of basketball and, I should say or baseball. Basketball or baseball. All right, and then the last possible question. How many watched football and baseball, but not basketball? Keyword? And means? Intersect. So what do they share in common? So when you're talking about football and baseball is this portion of the picture. But then you have to kick out basketball. So then you're just down to one number, which is 15. Where do people get confused? Between or and. They see the words, but they skip the or and the and's meaning. Get those in there first so you know what the heck you're talking about. And then just get the right numbers. Now, this problem is also split into two pieces on the test. One, I'm going to have you construct the Venn diagram. Put the numbers in there and subtract your way out. The second one is I give you the picture and then ask you the questions. Why did I do that? Because people screwed up the picture and then that screws up the questions, makes it very hard to figure out if you actually understood the question part. So I separate that one into two pieces also. So it makes life a little bit nicer for you. All right, so that's the test. That's everything that's on it. Woohoo! Any questions? Go for it.
Well, you said that's everything that's on it. You talking about we just
1 1, 1 3, 2 1, 2 2, 2 3, 2 4, 2 5. That's the end of my lecture. But you still have a lot to do. So it's everything that's on the quiz, plus 3 set Venn diagrams, De Morgan's Law, and applications.
Can you touch bases on the proper subsets and subsets again?
Proper subsets and subsets, all that fun stuff.
And can you touch bases on that again?
Do I want to? Sure. What about them? What is it?
Yeah, I just can't get it. What you mean proper subsets? So I get those confused.
All right. Let's go simplistically. If you have a set A,